Halloween 2020 is just a few days away, and if you're like me, you might want some music that's a little more interesting to listen to than Monster Mash, or Alice Cooper, or the Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack, or Elvira's Top 100, whatever. I mean, that stuff is fun, it's fine for parties and stuff, but I like listening to music that I can really sink my teeth into. I have a lot to kind of discover in it, and it really gets me in the mood for the holiday. So, I've got 5 albums that I want to share with you that I recommend that will get you into the Halloween spirit. All right, album number 5 is called Book of Souls, Folio A by Secret Chiefs 3. And this is just such a crazy album. There's such an eclectic mix of music. It's all instrumental, lots of really cool instrumentation with unique sounds, stuff you're really not going to hear anywhere else. And kind of the mastermind behind this band, Secret Chiefs 3, is the guitarist from Mr. Bungle, named Trey Spruance. There's a lot of great musicianship on this album, but like I said, it's got a lot of cool sounds. It's dark and eerie. It's got everything you might want to listen to in a Halloween album. All right, number 4 is another album that's just really out there. This one's called Grand Opening and Closing by Sleepytime Gorilla Museum. If you're not familiar with them, just approach it with an open mind, because it's really out there stuff. There is a vocalist, so all the songs have singing and vocal performance, and it's really just, it's one of those albums that's so complex and so out there that you listen to it and you're like, I don't know what to think, But it's worth noting that Tony Levin, the bassist for King Crimson and Peter Gabriel and lots of other great artists, he has an entry, or he has like a paragraph on the Sleepytime Gorilla Museum Wikipedia page talking about how big a fan Tony is of this band and how he thinks their music is really powerful. And I think he said something like, Sleepytime Gorilla Museum does stuff just in the first song that is so far beyond anything that even an experimental band like King Crimson would do. So yeah, if you really want to challenge yourself with music that, it just doesn't have constraints, check out this album by Sleepytime Gorilla Museum. All right, number 3 is a very different Halloween-related album. It's not as wild and crazy as numbers 5 and 4. But it is called Halloween Baptism, and it is by an artist named Sean Persinger, who also goes by Prester John. And we interviewed Sean 3 years ago when this album was just coming out, and what is amazing about this release is Sean wrote an entire book about making the album. He wrote a tablature book for every single song if you wanted to, look at the sheet music, and he performed every instrument on the album. So it was a huge effort, and then on top of that, he has really beautiful artwork that has fall colors, and it's all fall inspired, and just, it's beautiful. The whole package, the whole intention, everything makes it just a great Halloween album. And he and I spoke. Check out the video interview that we did 3 years ago, and you can hear all about how he was inspired by this season and why he put the album together. So, number 2 is, I think any fan of Make Weird Music would know, you can't have a creepy, dark list of albums without bringing up The Residents. So they have an album called Freak Show, which came out in the 1990s, and it's about freaks. Like the whole bearded lady kind of thing. They have a song on there called Harry the Head, about a head that just somehow is alive inside of a jar of formaldehyde. And they have a computer animated video that's like 30 years old. They were so ahead of their time. And it's this head in a jar like bouncing around in circus scenes and whatever. So strange, so out there. And of course with The Residents, it's so moody and eerie and dark, and so I really want to encourage you to check out this album, Freak Show. And if you're really interested, you can check out on YouTube, there's videos of the CD-ROM game that they released to accompany this album, also called Freak Show. So yeah, check that out. It's some old technology, but classic Residents. And then Number 1 on this list, my favorite Halloween album by far, just no contest. It's called The Director's Cut by Fantomas. I'm not sure if I'm saying that band's name correctly, but it is run by, or I guess, the brains behind the band is Mike Patton from Mr. Bungle. And you will hear all of this music through his, kind of twisted musical lens. And what makes this album really cool is it's a collection of, movie themes from famous creepy movies. So it starts out with like the Godfather theme, and it goes into like this heavy metal version of it. It's really nuts. They do Rosemary's Baby, they do Cape Fear, they do Charade, which starts out with a Henry Mancini theme. So, really cool to hear a Henry Mancini melody and composition through the eyes of Mike Patton and all these amazing musicians in the band. So hopefully you enjoy any of those 5 albums. I hope it puts you in the spirit of Halloween, and if you are somehow trick-or-treating or doing something for the holiday, just be safe, do it well, and I hope you have an awesome Halloween weekend. Oh, and if you have any albums that you want to recommend that you think these are super Halloween albums, please let us know in the comments. I would love to hear about them, and I know other listeners and viewers would also like your recommendation. So thanks, be safe, hope you have a great weekend.